أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال عز وجل في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا. All praise belongs to Allah. We praise Him. We ask for His forgiveness and we ask for His guidance. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil of our deeds and the mischief of our souls. We bear witness that none deserves to be worshipped except Allah, and we bear witness that Muhammad is His messenger and servant. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us in the Quran in a close meaning that He it is who has sent His messenger with guidance and the way of life that is truth, to prevail over all other ways of life. And Allah is sufficient as a witness. My brothers and sisters in Islam, I greet you with a greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As Muslims, as believers, we must live, or at least try to develop the concept and the understanding that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of absolutely everything that we do. We have to be, and it's a concept that many people go through their lives unaware of. We as Muslims, we need to endeavor to develop that concept, develop that understanding, and live our lives with that in mind. Live our lives knowing every day, every second of the day, that Allah is aware of absolutely everything that we do, is aware even of our most intimate thoughts. You see, because sometimes we think things And we say to ourselves, well, it's my mind, it's my brain, no one knows what I'm thinking. And it is true, no one knows. But we have to develop that consciousness as Muslims that though no one else knows, Allah knows. And I know we have probably heard this concept many a times throughout our lives, but to develop it is a whole different story. You see, as Muslims, this is a very, very important concept, and we'll go through that inshallah today. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is hidden from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether they're the good things or the bad things. And I know sometimes we look around the world, even in today's time, and we see the many things that are happening. And we say, and sometimes we make statements that may indicate that Allah is not aware of what's going on. That is an impossibility, an absolute impossibility. Allah is aware of absolutely everything that's happening on the face of the earth today. And the things that we ourselves as human beings may not have any knowledge of, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of those things. And He says in Surah Yunus, He says, وَمَا تَكُونُ فِي شَأْنٍ وَمَا تَتْلُو مِنْ قُرْآنٍ وَلَا تَعْلَمُونَ مِنْ عَمَلٍ إِلَّا كُنَّا عَلَيْكُمْ شُهُودًا تُصِيدُونَ فِيهِ. In whatever business, close meaning, in whatever business you may be in, and whatever portion of the Quran you may be reciting, and whatever deed you may be doing, we are witnesses to it. We are witnesses to it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He is witness to every single thing that we do or think or act upon. He subhanahu wa ta'ala is a witness to it. And we must live our lives according to that understanding. This is an absolute must, because if we don't, what are the consequences? We will do things unaware. We'll do things seemingly unaware, even for that slight moment that Allah is not aware of what we're doing, and we make mistakes. We do things or we say things or we commit acts that in the end or down the road, later on, come back to haunt us. So we must live our life today, right now, in the present, every single day, knowing and understanding that Allah is aware of every single thing that we do. Because if this is forever present in our consciousness, in our psyche, we would behave differently. We would absolutely behave differently, and it is proof. When we drive down the street, and we are driving past a signal light. If the light is red, we tend to stop. But some of us stop only because we fear what will happen if we get caught if we don't stop. Why not stop? Because stopping is what you're supposed to do. You see, sometimes we obey the law only because we fear the consequences of what may happen if we don't. You see, for us as Muslims, as I said before, the believer should stop themselves from doing wrong, because doing wrong is wrong. Not because of who is watching or not because of anything else, but because doing wrong is wrong and because Allah is aware. You see, so this is a very important concept. This ayah, portion of the ayah that I just read, should raise, my brothers and sisters in Islam, should raise our consciousness. And this is Surah Yunus, should raise our consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His awareness of absolutely all that we do. And very importantly, it should help us to increase taqwa, increase our taqwa of Allah, increase our fairness, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, increase our obedience to Allah, because this is what it's about. Everything in the Quran is designed to guide us to Allah and to give us a better life and to bring us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Though it may not seem that way, this is the objective. The objective is to bring us closer to Allah so that in the end we have Jannah. This is the entire objective. But sometimes we live our life in this world completely unaware and doing things as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not aware. And there's a group of people who has no worry at all. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says they have no worry, and these are whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala referred to those who are close to Him, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says also in Surah Yunus, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Surely on the friends of Allah there is no fear, nor shall they grieve. But who are they? We don't know. Who are they? Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows who those are. There's none of us here that can say, well, I am Allah's friend and you're not. Or he is Allah's friend and they're not. No one can say this because we don't know who they are. That relationship that you develop between you and Allah is exactly that, a relationship between you and Allah. Nothing less. That is a relationship, and I urge you, if you don't have a relationship between you and Allah, I urge you to develop one, because it's important. It's probably one of the most important things you will ever do in your entire life. One of the more than the money that we make, more than the jobs or the careers that we have, developing a relationship with Allah is the absolute most important thing that you will ever do in your entire life. And I think most of us here, and we do have some youth in the audience, but most of the adults who have kids and have gone through the youth process, I think most of us have now come to the realization, after moving from the countries in which we came from, including myself, to this one, we come to the realization that the one most important thing that has kept us grounded is our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think by the age we are now, I think we now realize that. When we were growing up, we didn't know it, we didn't think it. We did everything, we did all kinds of things. But now at the age that we are, and we have our own children, and we are able to look back on our lives, and we're able to look at the present, where we are today, I believe we have come to the realization that the only thing that have kept us grounded, though small or whatever the size, is that relationship with Allah. We know this now. When we were 10 and 15 years old, most of us were doing other things. Maybe even at 20, 25. And some of us are still doing other things at 35, 45, and 55. But many of us, I'm sure, have now realized that it is that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that have kept me out of probably many things that I could have gotten myself into. Right? And last week, 2 weeks ago, I went to Kualinga. Some of you are saying, where is that? It's actually at the other end of the earth. Right? Kualinga is a desert city in the Central Valley where there is a prison there. And I went to visit the prisoners there in Kualinga, mostly Hispanics. And there was one guy in there, and he stayed way in the back of the crowd. And as I was talking to them, he kept very quiet and sort of was almost hiding. And I said, after I finished the talk, I said to him, I said, "You're not Hispanic." He said no, and he kind of put his head down. And he was actually ashamed. He was actually ashamed that because of his background, coming from a Muslim family, having been born a Muslim, having been raised in a Muslim family, where his parents and grandparents and great-grandparents and all a line of people were Muslim, he was actually ashamed to have found himself in an American prison for whatever he had done. And he was trying to hide the fact that, okay, I'm in prison. You know, he didn't want it. I remember the last time we talked about that, what constitutes a sin? Ma haka fi nafsi. You know, that thing in your chest that you don't want anyone to find out about. And he was actually ashamed to have found himself in an American prison, along with all the other people that were there. Because sometimes we live our lives without that consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we do things that get us in trouble. And I'm not talking about a lapse of judgment, which sometimes does get us in trouble too, but you know, we do things to the point where it lands us in prison for a very long time. For a very long time. And some of these prisoners that were there, some of them have life sentences. They have life sentences. So, you know, whatever it is, and I don't know, you never ask, but whatever they have done to have landed them there for a lifetime, you have to think, they must have been living their life completely devoid of the thought that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching them. You see. And we as Muslims, we need to not do that. We need to develop a relationship with Allah so that it can help ground us, so it can help us keep us on the right path. Every single day we recite so many times in our salah, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. We say this, but has it, you know, how much does it mean to us when we say it? And yes, we're asking Allah, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, but you have to mean it when you ask. You have to mean it when you ask. And you can't say Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim and walk out the door and do something wrong knowingly. You see. So my brothers and sisters, it is that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we must develop in order to keep us grounded. And for those of you who have children, they're watching. They're watching you. You may not, they are watching you. And they are watching to see how you behave. They are watching to see what you do in this or that circumstance. Well, I want to see how my dad is going to handle that. I want to see how my mom is going to handle that. They are watching you. And based on how you behave, based on how you behave, you're going to plant a seed in their mind. They may not do it now, but down the road, they're going to say, I saw my father, I saw my mother doing this, so this must be okay. And when we read in the Quran, my brothers and sisters in Islam, we read of the stories of all the Anbiya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the one thing that is prevalent in all of their stories, the one thing that is prevalent in all the stories of the Anbiya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when the prophets came to them and brought them Tawheed, what was the reason they rejected? They rejected because they said, this is what we found our fathers doing. This is what our people do. Why would we want to change it? They were watching and they were learning from their parents and their parents and their parents. So your children are watching and learning from you. And based upon what you teach them, and teaching doesn't always take place with words. Most teaching takes place with actions. Based upon what you do is going to determine what they do down the road. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, surely on the friends of Allah no fear shall come upon them, nor shall they grieve. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then described who are they? He says, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ, those who believe and guard against evil and have taqwa. These are the friends of Allah, those who believe and have taqwa. This is important, to believe and to have taqwa. Raise that God consciousness, have that relationship with Azza wa Jal. Have that relationship with Allah. Because and I'm sure you know, when we die, no one is going with you. you are going to take only two things with you. You're going to take your deeds, whether those are good or whether those are bad. You're going to take those two things, your good deeds and your bad deeds. You see, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is reported to have said, once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my brothers and sisters, becomes your friend, once He becomes your friend, He will never abandon you. Once Allah becomes your friend, He will never, subhanahu wa ta'ala, abandon you. And I am sure many of us probably have situations in our lives in which we thought, there is no way I can get out of this situation. And before you know it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala found for you a way out. Found a way out for you. Some of us make the mistake of thinking, well, woof, man, I was smart enough to beat that one. No, it wasn't you being smart enough. It was Allah who helped get you out of the situation, and we have to recognize it for what it is. You see, because that same individual that I mentioned just now in the prison, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed him to get caught and end up in there. But believe it or not, for many people, some of the absolutely best Muslims that I know, some of them came out of the prison system. Came out of the prison system. So maybe that is a lesson for this individual. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will teach us lessons in ways that only He knows. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in this hadith, related by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, Inna Allah azza wa jal qal, and this is a hadith Qudsi, and in the interest of time, I have the Arabic, in the interest of time, if you allow me, I'll read the English. It says, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrated from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that Allah said, whoever is hostile to those who are close to me, I declare war on them. And this hadith, by the way, is in Bukhari. It says, whoever is hostile to those who are close to me, I declare war against them. A believer does not come close to me with anything more loving than what I have made obligatory upon him. And I just want to pause there for a quick second. To get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my brothers and sisters in Islam, we have to do those things first that are obligatory upon us. We have to fast. We have to make salah 5 times a day, not 3, or you don't bunch them all up at the end of the day. No, 5 times a day, not 5 at one time. 5 times a day. We have to fast. We have to do all of those things that are obligatory upon us first to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a good example of this sometimes, and I believe one of the khatib has mentioned it before, that in Ramadan, in many places in Ramadan, you will find that some of us, we don't pray during the day, but we come to Taraweeh at night. Taraweeh is not obligatory. But 5 times salah is. So you can't put the non-obligatory stuff before the obligatory things. And even in this hadith Qudsi, we look at the way in which it was related. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this hadith mentions that first. And then what He says, and when a believer continues to come nearer to me through voluntary deeds. This is what comes after. So the obligatory things first, and then the voluntary things after, the nawafil. Those voluntary things, then you do that. That's a continuation of getting closer to Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then He says, until I love Him. And when I love Him, Allahu Akbar. And when I love Him, He says, I become His ears with which He hears. I become His sight with which He sees. I become His hands with which He strikes. And I become His legs with which He walks. Subhanallah wa bihamdih. This is being close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If He asks me, I shall grant him any request. If he seeks my refuge, I shall protect him. I do not hesitate in what I intend to do, as I hesitate to take the soul of my faithful servant. He dislikes death, while I dislike for any harm to come to them. رواه البخاري. وأقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم إنه هو الغفور. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again reminds us, my brothers and sisters, in Surah Yunus, لَحْمُ الْبُشْرَى فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ. But for them, there is glad tidings in this world and in the hereafter. لا تبديل لكلمات الله ذلك هو الفوز العظيم. There will be no change. You won't find any change in the word of Allah. This indeed is the supreme triumph. This is success. That is success, my brothers and sisters in Islam. When we develop that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the point where Allah becomes our friend. You see, to the point where Allah becomes our friend. First He says you won't have any fear, nor will you grieve. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes the eyes and the ears and the hands and the feet with which you do anything with. And in the end is Jannah. How much better do we want it? And the end is Jannah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you will have good news in this life and in the hereafter. So not only the akhirah would be good, but so will your dunya will be good. Just by developing that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when I mention the dunya being good, I'm not referring to how much money we have. Sometimes we equate success with all those material things. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala equates success with some very, very few things. Allah says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Successful is a believer who develops khushu' in their salah. That is the success. Why is this? Why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I'm sure we know how difficult it is to develop khushu' in the salah. And one brother always jokes about it. He says, as soon as he says Allahu Akbar, the first takbir, and he falls in the salah, he says, the light bill needs to be paid. Shaitan comes to you and mentions the light bill, Allahu Akbar. Because to develop the khushu' is so difficult. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you have attained a great deal of success if you can develop khushu' in your salah. Something that we may find simple. Oh, well, if I just bow my head and pretend like I have khushu'. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows if you have khushu' or not. You knows if you have khushu' or not. It's not what posture you put your body in. And my brothers and sisters in Islam, developing a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and becoming the friend of Allah, and I do need to mention this, it's not like the idea of other religions, where you do nothing else and you sit all day and you make dhikr that's not developing a relationship with Allah. It's not about those outward things, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago. It is about that relationship. It is about your heart. It is about your belief. It is about how you behave, and more importantly, how you think, even when no one is around. Even when no one is around. How do you behave when nobody is looking? How do you behave? How do you think when nobody is looking? That's the important part. You see, it's not about what someone else sees you do. And lastly, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, for our Muslim youth, we have a very small community here that needs building. Our community needs building. The only activity we have here in the masjid is Jummah, once a week, and we have a weekend school during the school time. We need to build our community to have activities in the community. Because I guarantee you, and we as parents, we see them also, our youth Our young kids, boys and girls, are running away from us. They're going away from us. They're going away from Deen. And most people that I talk to about this, they always say that if we give them a good foundation, eventually they will come back. Some of you here have told me the same thing. That, you used to be so far away, you never used to make salah, you never this, that, and you have come back. And so you believe that if we have a good foundation, then inshallah the children will come back. And inshallah they will. And this is a very important thing, because the Prophet ﷺ says, my brothers and sisters in Islam, because, and again I will close with this, the ultimate goal is Jannah. I don't care how you look at it, how you twist it, the ultimate goal should be Jannah. And the Prophet ﷺ says very clearly that one of those categories of people under the throne and the shade of Allah on that day when no shade will exist is the youth. شاب نشأ في عبادة ربه, is that youth who was brought up in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are your responsibility, parents. Your children, our children are our responsibility, you see. And for the parents, encourage them. Because sometimes they need a push. I mean, they don't need a push. If you tell them to wash the dishes and clean up their room, you need to push them to do that. But you tell them, look something up on the computer for me. Before you finish the statement, they're already on there looking it up. They don't need a push for that. But they need a push for almost everything else. They need a push for Deen. Because it is difficult. Some of us don't understand what our children are going through growing up in this country. We really don't understand. You really don't understand what our children are going through growing up in this country. You are pulling them one way, Islam is pulling them another way, their friends are pulling them another way, and they want to go a fourth way. They are being pulled in all these directions. We have no idea most of the times what our children are going through. We have no clue. And sometimes you think you may know, but you don't know. Because if you haven't developed that relationship with your children, I guarantee you parents, sometimes you are the last person to know what's going on in their lives. By the time you find out, they have already discussed it with 3-4 people. And you are the last sometimes. We pray that that doesn't happen. But sometimes we don't understand what our children are going through. So encourage them. Help them to develop that relationship with Allah, because they're watching you. If you have developed a relationship with Allah, they're watching you. And they're watching to see how you behave. When it's time to implement, what Allah says and what you want to do. And I tested my daughter just yesterday. We went out to the street and I said to her, we were shopping, doing something, and I said to her, I was testing her, I said, let's bet. And she says, no. I said, why not? She said, well, because you said betting is haram. I said, well, that's right. So it doesn't matter if I'm telling it to you or somebody else says it's haram, no matter who is doing it. And mashallah, it was a test for her to see where was her mind. She's 12 years old. And she reminded me, she said, no, this is what you said. So again, we have to encourage them to do good. We have to encourage them and push them to do, because they are watching you. My brothers and sisters in Islam, practice your Islam so that they may have a model to look up to. They need a model, they need someone to look up to, and that needs to be you. Develop that relationship with Allah so that they too can learn how to develop that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إننا آمنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وقنا عذاب النار عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله ولا ذكر الله أكبر وأقيموا الصلاة